In this video, we'll be covering the #1 skill you need to build a successful online business. Hey, what's up? I'm Mark Terbolini, and I'm all about achieving financial independence through real estate investing and online business. So if you're new to the channel and you're looking to achieve financial freedom for yourself, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below and you will not miss a thing. So there are a million different factors that go into creating a successful online business. And when it comes to website, there's the images, there's the text, there's the search engine optimization, there's the information architecture, there's the user experience, there's customer service and messaging and all kinds of things that go into creating a successful online business. And it may seem difficult to narrow it down just to one thing, but it really does come down to one very important thing, and that is copywriting. Copywriting is essentially salesmanship in print. And to give that a little bit further explanation, it's the process of writing copy that persuades the reader to take a specific action. So you're basically writing to make a sale. And without copywriting experience, if you're just kind of throwing up text, that kind of describes, your product, or maybe it's kind of technical, or you're just putting some information there, it might not be as effective as you would like. Purchasing is an emotional experience. And what people do is they buy through emotion and then they rationalize that later through logic. And if your copy does not kind of create that emotion in your buyer, they're not going to really connect and follow through with the purchase. So that's why copywriting is so important. And when I talk about copywriting for the web, there's kind of two different ways to think about it as far as I'm concerned. One is copywriting for the web in general, and this is kind of like your home page, maybe the about page. It's kind of like pages in general that aren't sales focused. They're just kind of general pages. Writing for the web is a little bit different than other forms of media. In the past, there's been newspapers, and when you read a newspaper, you go, down each column and all the way across the page. And then same with a magazine. You're kind of reading the columns, kind of looking at some of the pictures and reading the information. Websites are different. People click on a website and then they kind of see the top part of the website, and then they see kind of like a headline, they scroll, they might see some text, maybe read a little bit, scroll some more, look at some visuals, and so people don't really sit down and read a website. They kind of scan through. And you need to write in a way that caters to that. So you have to put kind of the important information like at the beginning of each sentence. If you're writing like a little text blurb, put the important information first, because that's what people are going to read. They're not going to read, 3 sentences into your text blurb, as much. So that is very important when you're trying to communicate quickly to people that are just scanning through the site. So that is more just writing for the web in general. The other way to write is basically just strictly sales focused. And this is going to include a lot of different frameworks and structures. There's a lot of them out there. And you can write in different ways that kind of create that emotion for the buyer to kind of like feel emotions basically as they're reading through the copy, to kind of persuade them towards purchasing the product. And there's a few different resources I wanted to share with that. So going back to copywriting for the web in general, there's a program that I went through, and it's called American Writers and Artists Institute, awai.com. And I took a course called Copywriting for the Web by Nick Osborne. And that one, like I said, is more focused on like writing for the homepage or the about page, just writing for the web in general. So that's an excellent resource to learn how to do that. And I think that's really good for just writing for the web in general. Now, if you want to get to the next level of that, where you're writing for sales pages, there's a lot of different copywriters out there. All you have to do is go on Google and type in, top copywriters. And there's a ton of them. And you can kind of, find ones that kind of suit your style and kind of follow their frameworks, whatever kind of works for you. But I have a few here that I would share with you. And one I have here that I wasn't really expecting that much out of, but it was actually really good. And it is Persuasive Copywriting by Andy Maslin. It says, using psychology to influence, engage, and sell. And this book is actually really good. I was impressed by it for sure. They go into very detailed specifics here. You get like specific text blurbs that they kind of go into on more detail. Let's see. Here we go. There's tests. So after you read this section, there's like a test, kind of test your knowledge. And then there's also exercises in here. And yeah, just really good stuff. It kind of goes through like good examples and bad examples. So you know like what's bad and what's good. So you kind of see the difference between the two. And so this book is actually really, really good. So again, that's Persuasive Copywriting by Andy Maslin. Good book. I'm going through it for the second time and I'm really enjoying it. So that's a good one. The second one I have here, I have not read. I actually just picked it up a few weeks ago, but this author or this copywriter I've heard of a lot through the digital marketing community. And it's The Ultimate Sales Letter by Dan Kennedy. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Dan Kennedy, and I've heard that he's an excellent marketer and an excellent copywriter. And this is one of his best books. And so I'm going to read through this. And if I really enjoy it, I'll probably pick up a few more of his books. But yeah, Dan Kennedy for sure. Check that one out. And the last one I have here is Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. And I read through this one and I was blown away. This book is awesome. This is probably my favorite copywriting book that I've gone through. I read through the entire thing already, and it's just way too much to absorb in one reading. It's a lot. It's very dense for sure. And I'm going through it again, and I'm going through it page by page, and I'm actually taking notes and taking out the really key elements and then putting that in my notes so I can refer back to those notes at a later time. So I don't have to like read the whole entire book again. I can go back and just kind of pick out the key points. But I'm probably going to read it. I'm going to read it multiple times because this book is really, really good. It's not just strictly copywriting either. This kind of helps you just understand marketing in general. Like one of the key points that this book pointed out to me was you don't create demand by writing excellent copy. You're not creating demand at all. What you're doing is you're finding there might be demand out there. So there's demand that's out there in general. And what you're doing is you're writing copy that grabs their attention and then funnels them in the direction that you would like them to go towards your product or service or whatever it may be. So you're channeling that demand instead of you're not creating the demand, you're just channeling it. So that was one cool point out of this book. But those are the three that I have right now. I'm going to get into the Ultimate Sales Letter here briefly or soon. So yeah, if you want to create a successful online business, you have to really take into account the copywriting. People kind of put a little bit too much emphasis on the design of the websites and it makes sure it looks really pretty and it flows well and everything, you know. And it's funny. It doesn't really matter as much as you would expect. You don't need like a super flashy, perfect website to have an effective sales page. You know, you just need like really solid copywriting and people will purchase. So I definitely recommend learning it and writing great copy yourself or hiring somebody to do it for you because it will pay yourself back, you know, tenfold basically. So if you like this content, be sure to like and subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.